Welcome back to Level 4. Up to this point, our bot is looking fantastic. We have dynamic inline keyboards, it feels like a real app, and when a user clicks the burger button, it instantly says Add it to cart. But we have a massive problem. What happens if we stop the bot? Or if the server crashes and restarts in the middle of the night? Let's try it. I'll stop the terminal, start it back up, and check the bot. Where is my cart? It's completely gone. The bot completely forgot who I am and what I ordered. This happens because right now, any data we have is just living inside your computer's temporary memory, the RAM. As soon as the Python script stops, that memory is wiped clean. If we want to build a real business, we need persistent storage. We need a database. Think about this. A database is simply a highly organized digital filing cabinet that saves data directly to your hard drive, ensuring it survives restarts and power outages. Now, we could use raw SQL commands to talk to our database, but that gets messy and hard to maintain. Instead, we're going to use a popular tool called SQLAlchemy. SQLAlchemy is an Object Relational Mapper, or ORM. What this means is it lets us write normal Python code and it automatically translates that into database language behind the scenes. For the database itself, we'll use SQLite. It's a lightweight database that saves everything into a simple file right inside our project folder, making it perfect for development. Let's get this set up. Open your terminal. Make sure your virtual environment is active and let's install our new tool. Type pip install SQLAlchemy and hit enter. While that installs, let's organize our project. Over in your File Explorer, create a brand new file and call it database.py. This is important because we don't want to cram everything into our main.py file. Professional engineers separate their logic. The main file handles Telegram and the database file handles the filing cabinet. Inside our new database.py file, first, we need to pull in the core tools from SQLAlchemy. We'll import createEngine to connect to our database and column, integer, and string so we can define exactly what kind of data we're saving. Next, from the ORM side, we need declarative base to create our data model and session maker to handle our actual conversations with the database. Finally, we initialize our base. Think of this as the foundation that all our future database tables will be built upon. Let's define what our data will actually look like. We do this by creating a model, which is basically a blueprint for a database table. Let's write class CartItem, and we'll make it inherit from SQLAlchemy's declarative base. This tells SQLAlchemy that this Python class directly represents a table in our database. Inside this class, we need to define our columns. First, let's write our ID column. Every database row needs a unique identifier, so we set this as an integer and mark it as the primary key. Next, we need to know whose cart this is. Let's write user ID and set it as an integer. This is crucial. If we don't store the Telegram user's specific ID, everyone interacting with the bot will share the exact same cart, which would be a disaster. After that, we'll add item name as a string, so we know if they ordered a burger or fries. Finally, we'll add quantity as an integer, and let's give it a default value of 1. Now that we have our blueprint, we need to connect to the actual database file. Right below our class, let's create the engine. We'll set the engine to create a file called shop.db. Next, we need a session. Think of a session as a waiting room. When we want to save or read data, we open a session, put our data in the waiting room, and when we are completely ready, we commit it to the database. Let's write the code to set up the session local maker and bind it to our engine. Finally, let's call the createAll method on our base class. What this does when it runs is it looks at our CartItem blueprint and actually builds the empty table structure inside that shop.db file. Our database is officially ready. Let's go back over to our main.py file and hook it up. At the very top of the file, we need to import our session local and our CartItem model from our database file. Now, scroll down to your button click function. This is where the magic happens. When the user clicks the burger button, we receive that add burger callback data. Inside that if statement, instead of just editing the text message, let's actually save the order to the hard drive. First, we open a session. Let's write db equals session local. Next, we figure out who clicked the button. We can safely get the user's Telegram ID by grabbing update.effectiveuser.id. Now, let's construct a new cart item. We'll make a new cart item object, pass in the user ID we just grabbed, and set the item name to burger. We have our item, but it's only in Python's temporary memory right now. Let's add it to the database waiting room by writing db.add, passing in our new item. And now the most important step, let's write db.commit. Important, if you don't do this, nothing gets saved. Committing tells the database to permanently write the waiting room data to the hard drive. Right after the commit, we update the message to give the user some feedback. Instead of just saying it was added to a temporary list, we can now confidently say, burger saved to database, and their data is officially permanent. Of course, saving data is completely useless if we can't look at it later. Let's create a quick way for the user to see their cart. Let's write a brand new command handler function called showCart. Inside this function, we open a new database session and grab the user's ID again. Now, we need to ask the database a question. Let's write our query. We want to query the cart item table, but we only want the rows that belong to this specific person. So right below that, we filter the query where the cart item's user ID matches our current user's ID. And we ask for all the results. What this means is the database rapidly searches through thousands of rows and hands us a simple Python list containing only your specific burgers and fries. We can then loop through that list, build a nice formatted text string, and send it back to the user using reply text. Make sure to close your session at the end of this function too. One small detail here, I accidentally put my db.close line inside the else block. That's a problem because if the cart is empty, the database connection would stay open and eventually freeze our bot. We need to make sure the database always closes, no matter what. Let's backspace that and align it with the if statement. Now, whether the user has items or not, the bot will properly tidy up the connection after sending the message. Now we need to make sure the bot actually listens for our new cart command. We're going to add two different types of handlers here. First, we add a command handler. This is specifically for when a user types /showCart with that leading /. It's the standard way users interact with professional bots. Second, we're adding a message handler with a regex filter. This is a bit more pro. It listens for the plain word cart, no slash needed. This is perfect if you want to create a custom keyboard button later that just says cart on it. By adding both, we're making our bot much more flexible and user-friendly. Let's test the entire flow. Save all your files and restart your bot in the terminal. Go to Telegram, click Menu, click Burger, and type /showCart. Boom, look at that. The bot replies with your burger. The data survived. Your bot now possesses long-term memory. Now, you'll notice that our fries button and the other menu options are still using that old temporary memory system. I'm going to leave those remaining inlines as a challenge for you to try yourself. Follow the exact same pattern. Open the session, create the item, commit it, and close it. Try to do it from memory. Once you've updated those remaining parts, your entire bot will be fully powered by persistent storage. Before we finish up, I want to warn you about the 3 most common mistakes beginners make when connecting databases. First, forgetting the db.commit line. Your code will run perfectly without errors, but your database will remain completely empty. Second, not filtering your queries by user ID. If you just run query.all without a filter, user A will see user B's order. Always protect and isolate your user's data. And third, leaving sessions open. Always close your session when you're done or your database will eventually lock up and freeze your bot. By adding this database, we just crossed a massive threshold. You are no longer writing a simple script. You have built a fully functional, stateful system. It remembers. But right now, our users can only add items. What if they want to check out? What if they want to pay? And how do we, as the store owners, see these orders coming in? In the next level, we're going to build an admin panel and dive into Telegram's native invoicing and payment system. Get your database code working, make sure your cart survives a terminal restart, and I'll see you in level 5.